Live from our posh studios along the I-35 corridor, it's time once again for a couple of cold ones with Corey and Carlisle.
Man, that was a comeback right there.
Now with 100% more Carlisle.
What's going on, man?
Not much, man.
Welcome back.
I'm back!
I've been teasing people. People been saying, where's Carlisle at? And I've been just messing with him. Like, he ain't coming back. Quit asking me. And because I knew you were going to come back, so I said, hey.
I went and walked through the Arctic for a month and, had to go talk to a guru, and we sat
down with monks.
Dude, I did. I sat down, and they said, so why did you come to us? And I laid out my... laid out my soul to them and said, this is why I'm here. They said, really? You walked all the way out here for that? Get the fuck out of here. Go back and record your fucking show.
Yeah, what are you doing here?
So I'm back. I apparently am not good enough for Zen. So here I am back.
Nothing Zen about this.
Nothing Zen about this,
hell
baby.
No. Yes. I mean, you're welcome back. Shit. To Zenless cold ones. A couple of cold ones.
No Zen here.
So, you look more relaxed, man.
Dude, no, I needed to. I've been doing this for a long time. I mean, I talk about that, and people, the people who read my weekly dump, they've started to see, wow, he really does write a lot. I mean, I tend to write between 10 and 15 pieces a week. You do that for a long time, and it kind of gets to you, and you're just doing that 60, 70 hours a week, and I just needed to take some time to chill.
Yeah, no, hey, man, you remember back in the day when I used to go crazy on people?
I remember.
Yeah, I'd get tired, and I wouldn't sleep, and I'd start drinking, and I'd just go mad.
And the word motherfucker, I've never heard it used as often or as violently as I heard out of you back in the day.
I think I actually made whole sentences out of variations of motherfucker.
On live television.
Motherfucker, fuck your mother, fuck motherfucker, fucking motherfucker.
Except much angrier and throwing chairs.
Yeah, I don't want to.
I actually saw you throw a chair once.
I never threw a chair.
You threw a chair.
When did I throw a chair?
It was the one day what was it? It was the one day that we had other people in the booth. Remember when we tried recording with all five of us?
I got up and walked out, but I didn't throw a chair.
You threw a chair.
If I threw a chair, it was like the chair went back against the wall when I got up. And I didn't throw it. My ass threw the chair. I didn't throw the chair.
This was, keep in mind, Corey, this was back in the rage days. This is not a reflection of who you are now.
I was raging against the machine.
This was back in the day when you used to turn green and, Corey smash and, all hell would break loose and we would all duck because shit would come our way.
I never recall throwing a chair.
And I wouldn't be surprised, as angry as you were that day.
As a matter of fact, you guys missed probably the angriest night I had when somebody said something to me out in the middle of the street and I just got into a fight and I was glad nobody saw that. I think it was at that time where I was like, hey, maybe I'm not doing this right.
Yeah. Maybe I should stop drinking before I go out.
The fuck you looking at? So you want to go ahead and get into the top, the top
five brought to you by Bill.
Okay, let me bring it up right here. I want to let people know. Now, this week, I just got back from out of town. I got to apologize because we didn't have a cold ones up yesterday. And we've been good about getting them up on Monday. I mean, we will regularly get them up on Monday unless I go on a business trip and things might happen weird. I would have actually called you and done on the phone with you anyway, knowing that I was behind, but internet went out at the place I was staying.
You know what? And I didn't want you to. It really was, for my return to a couple of cold ones for the first time in a month, I wanted to be here in the room and do a couple of cold ones.
You want to come in crystal clear.
That's right.
Actually, I was going to call co-host and do it with him. That's a mistake. And we were supposed to do it on Sunday, and then you and I were going to do it tonight. So I didn't work out. But anyway, I apologize to everyone. We're here now. We're going to have this one tonight.
We're queer. Get used to it.
Speak for yourself. And then
you don't want them to get used to it? You want them to always be stunned by our queerness?
I don't think they're stunned by anything at this point. We made so many gay jokes that people probably think, you know what? I wonder if these guys are really gay and they're just making jokes trying to.
I just got back from a recording session with over in the Leog Center.
Oh, you with Cyrus?
I was with Cyrus and Jason, and man, they could not stop. Cyrus in particular could not stop talking about my dick. It was very uncomfortable.
And he likes to use that word. I mean, he's really gay with it. He likes to say cock.
Yeah.
He doesn't say dick. He's like. Cock.
Yeah,
he says with his feeling.
Yeah, he's just like Carlisle's cock. Dude, why are you thinking about my cock? I'm just making a small penis joke. Dude, why you gotta be? Why you even gotta bring up a brother's junk? That's a.
And he was wearing a leather outfit at the time.
It was assless chaps. It
was like that Gimp Pulp Fiction shit. I want to talk about Carlisle's cock.
Bring out the Cyrus. Cyrus is asleep. Better wake him up then.
I'm looking up here. Oh, the reason why I brought up why I'm doing something with co-hosts is because shows have been getting long. I don't know if I can stay that long doing 2-hour shows because co-host and I, we're going all night and I'm supposed to be at home. And by that point, we're like, damn, we talked a long time. So what we're doing here is our usual thing. We do this, the top 5, talk about stuff that went on during the week. And then, it was the email that always ran along with us.
Yeah.
And if I find a good email, I'm gonna, especially if it's towards you, I'm gonna read it or you can read it or whatever. But I'm gonna save a lot of celebrity stuff and, the email stuff for co-host.
He loves talking about the celebrity stuff. I just don't like it. And that's one of the reasons I don't like to cover it. It's not that I have anything against it. I don't like thinking about it.
You know, I hear you. I mean, well, hey, look, we're going to have 2 things to give people. Like, so
we just need to come up with another clever name that Alex Hacker can make an acronym out of.
Co-host has been trying to think of one. I've been trying to think of one. Well, you thought of this one. Maybe you can think of a name for it too.
I will brainstorm. And if I'm not going to do it right this second.
I was going to wait. Let's take 10 minutes. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no. Let's get on to the top 5.
Okay.
Brought to you by Spill.
All right, number 5 is
number 5.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
See, I'm back, brother. I'm back. Let's try that again, just for
let's do it. All right.
Number 5.
Hey, man, I gotta admit to you, this is no bullshit. I feel good vibes from you, man.
Dude, I told you that my month vacation did a world of good for me. I got to cleanse all this BS. I got de-stressed. I ain't
gonna lie to people. We had some serious talks, and it was I was like nervous, and I was feeling shitty, and I was like, man, I don't like talking to people like that. And then
it quite literally was. I needed a vacation, and now I'm back. And I'm good old-fashioned Carlisle. So
all right.
Let's get into the number 5 and see who had the number 5 spot.
It was Burn After Reading, the Coen Brothers movie.
Burn After Reading. Still going.
Yeah, still going. 45.6 million so far. Brought in 6.2 million this weekend.
That's doing really well compared to the pace that was set last year by No Country for Old Men.
So is this already doing better than No Country for Old Men?
Pace-wise, it is. When No Country for Old Men came out, it took well over a month and a half before it almost crossed 50 million. And here they are, ready to cross 50 million. Of course, this is a comedy versus
it has Clooney and Pitt.
It has Clooney and Pitt.
Yeah, I mean, you ain't gonna. You get those 2 guys in a movie. I mean, they could be pieces of shit, talking pieces of shit. And this is George Clooney and Brad Pitt. That movie's gonna do well.
You think, but then you look at what happened to Leatherheads. I mean, Leatherheads was even good.
But that was Clooney. There was no Pitt.
There was no Pitt. It was Clooney without the Pitt.
Exactly. Now, so you put them together, that movie would have been a hit.
Into the Clooney, there's a nice soft Pitt.
And there you go.
And now there's.
Yeah, the ladies love that. Those guys are they're a force when they're together. So, you know what? I saw a different number for this, but this is still amazing, and we'll talk about it after the top 5. Number 4. Fireproof. And now people are like, Fireproof? What the fuck is that?
It's a Christian film brought to you by Christian people starring Kirk Cameron.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, Kirk Cameron what was the show that he was on?
Growing
Pains. I never watched that show because I hated that show.
Well, dude, it was for white kids.
Oh, is that what it was?
Dude, it was Alan Thicke and Kirk Cameron. And on the final season of the show, they brought on the plucky kid who was played by Leonardo DiCaprio.
See, I never watched that show.
Leonardo DiCaprio was the messed up plucky kid who comes in the final season of Growing Pains.
So I was going to say Webster. They finally brought on a black kid. So.
No, it wasn't Webster. No, I grew up watching Growing Pains.
Yeah, I know a lot of people did. It was one of those shows I never watched. I mean, even when Kirk Cameron wasn't as righteous as he is now, he got on my fucking nerves, man. So but yeah, this is as people. If you ever watch Growing Pains, Kirk Cameron was a star. I mean, he even talks about how he was kind of going off the deep end because he had women throwing themselves at him. He had all kind of temptation around him, and then one day he found God. And he has been really strong Christian. I mean, strong Christian.
No, you don't mean a strong Christian. You mean he's a Christian.
Well, I'm trying to say Christian without being insulting.
I am a Christian, so I'm allowed to say. It's like you're allowed to make black jokes. You're allowed to use the N-word. I'm allowed to make fun of Christians.
Okay, because he's one of those batshit crazy Christians.
He's one of those off the deep end Christians. Like, I'm surprised he doesn't. I would be surprised if he didn't sleep with an acoustic guitar just so he could play a song to God in case he woke up and was a little scared.
Yeah,
he's one of those. Like, I don't think there's been a prayer show that he hasn't appeared on at one point in time.
Yeah, no, and you know what? I actually admire that guy for doing what he believed in, because he walked away from fame. He's one of those rare guys who said, you know what? I'm pretty much at the peak of my career. In fact, what was that movie that he did? Was it License to Drive? No,
it wasn't License to Drive, because that was the Coreys.
Okay, that was the Coreys. He did a movie where he was a teenager, and and the movie it didn't do crazy well.
He did a couple movies. Like the one that I always think of is the Trading Places movie that he did with
what was his name? Judge Reinhold.
With Judge Reinhold.
Yeah.
No.
Was it not Judge?
I think that was he did the one with Kirk Cameron was the one with Dudley Moore. The one with Judge Reinhold was with Fred Savage.
Oh, was that the Fred Savage one?
Freddie Savage and Judge Reinhold were the Trading Places one. Then it was Kirk Cameron and Dudley Moore. And I can't remember the one with Fred Savage and Judge Reinhold was called Vice Versa.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember what the Kirk Cameron one was called. But you were going on to a Kirk Cameron story.
Oh, no. I was just going to say it wasn't a big deal. I mean, that's a part of the story. I mean, he was at that point where he was making movies that weren't so good, but you could tell that if he continued, he probably get some big role. I mean, he might have been like the Shia LaBeouf type guy. And he said, I walked away from all of it because I had to find myself. Now, I think that motherfucker's crazy, but I do admire him for walking away. And you know something? He made a good choice, because shit, this movie, you know what? I'm going to save it for after this. It is a Christian film. Now get this. The movie brought in $6.8 million.
Okay.
And you know how much the movie cost to make? $500,000.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, and like I said, we'll talk about this afterwards. But anyway, apparently walking away and taking on Christian shit, it makes me wonder, like, was he thinking, shit, I could probably make more profit being a Christian than making some movies?
Not at all. But no, the thing is that keep in mind that Kirk Cameron has cred within the Christian community because he made a film that the Christian community loves, which is a big hit on DVD.
Was that the Left Behind movies? Yeah. And then they made some sequels, and what was the Mega Code or something like that? That he made some other movies.
Was he in Megiddo?
I think the Mega Code was one movie.
Oh, there was a Mega Code, and then there was Megiddo, a Mega Code 2.
Yeah,
which was directed by Brian Trenchard Smith, who I've been a big fan of for a long time.
Who is that?
He's an Australian filmmaker who made exploitation films back in the 70s and 80s. He still makes movies. He's responsible for such films as Stunt Rock and BMX Bandit, Dead End Drive-In, Man from Hong Kong.
I remember Dead End Drive-In.
Yeah, no, he made all these great trashy exploitation films in the 70s and 80s from Australia. And I have this really weird connection to him. I just finally got to meet him last week, which was cool.
Was he in for Fantastic Fest?
He was in for Fantastic Fest. And I grew up with his nephews. His nephews were like my best friends in high school. And I haven't seen them for years. And I run into them at the Alamo Draft House. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And they're like, we're here to see our uncle. I'm like, your uncle? Oh, my God, movie? Brian Trenchard Smith is your uncle. That's so weird.
And what was his movie that was showing at Fantastic
they were
Fest?
doing retrospectives
okay.
of Ozploitation films. There's a great documentary called Not Quite Hollywood, which details in full the history of the Australian film movement from the 60s on. And it covers Ozploitation in a big way and all the filmmakers who were influenced by it.
So this was a retrospective at
And they were showing a bunch of the Ozploitation films, and 2 of them were his.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I think they may have showed 3 of his. But they showed a bunch of different classic Ozploitation films, and he came to do them, and he's just the coolest guy, because he's an old-school, cool dude who gets to make exploitation films.
And those are the fun movies to make. And he's discovered Nicole Kidman.
Yeah, no, I mean, he made a lot of fun stuff.
He's like the Australian Roger Corman.
Roger Corman wouldn't be a good description.
Well, Roger Corman discovered. Look, I don't know anything about this guy, but Roger Corman covered all these talented people
that made lots of stuff. He's more in line with. God, I'm trying to think of. I'm blanking on exploitation directors at the time, but he's pretty cool.
It's just funny because I remember the commercial for Dead End Drive-In when I was a kid. It was like the trailer. It was like they had that thing at the end, that song, Dead End Drive-In, Dead End Drive-In. in. So, all right. So we'll talk about Fireproof in a little bit.
We'll get to Fireproof.
Yeah. Number 3 is Lakeview Terrace.
What? Dude?
Oh, I'm sorry. You know, I'm so used to like doing this now with nobody. Okay, let me start over. Okay, Fireproof we'll talk about in a little while.
Number 3.
There we go. Well, if that was refreshing. You're like, ah. All right, so that is Lakeview Terrace. Samuel Jackson carrying this movie on his celebrity.
I thought the movie was supposed to call Lakeview fucking Terrace. That it's Lakeview motherfucking Terrace.
But hey man, have you seen it?
I have not, dude. I haven't seen any of the stuff that's in the top 5 this week. I have been locked into festival films for 2 weeks solid.
That's right. You did
Was
the whole
this any
festival
good?
thing. You know what? Look, everybody's gonna tell you I went crazy about the movie, not in a good way. I was angry when I saw it, but
You had problems with the white men moving into the black neighborhood.
Yes,
didn't you?
well, he wasn't moving into a black neighborhood. He moved into a neighborhood where Samuel Jackson is one of the few black guys. In fact, he's the only real black guy in the neighborhood. They don't show anybody else. But so if anybody's gonna have a problem, they're gonna have a problem with the loudest black man in the world living in a white neighborhood. And so he decides to start picking on. Look, I'm not gonna get into it. You were gone. You missed the whole thing I did about it. I'm uneasy with the movie, but I always said that I was happy that Samuel Jackson was able to like bring this movie in on top on his own because he's the only real big celebrity in the movie.
Yeah.
So far, it's made $25.7 million, brought in $7 million this weekend. So, good for him, man. I think that goes to prove that Samuel Jackson is now a true celebrity.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not that he wasn't before, but what was the last movie that he did where he was in it that opened big just based on him?
Oh, I don't think he's. Typically, you don't put him as the star of the movie.
Exactly.
Usually you team him up with someone else and create an uber cast. But
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That this is the first movie.
Great.
Yeah, so good for him, man. He's one of my favorites. That guy, no matter. Everybody said, look, I'm tired of him screaming in every movie, but you know what?
That.
Yeah, that's what he does. And in this movie, to his credit, he gives a really good performance. I mean, talk about menacing in a fun way because he just fucks with people.
They had a thing at Fantastic Fest, an event called 100 Greatest Kills. And it was where people brought their favorite deaths from films and they cut them all together and you just sat and watched 100 people die. Actually more than that, but 100 Greatest Kills. And the minute Sam Jackson walks out in that wetsuit around that tank, the audience went nuts. And it was
that was the moment that, see, a lot of people don't like that movie. I love that movie just for that scene.
That scene
if you haven't seen, what's Deep Blue?
Deep Blue.
Yeah, and
Deep Blue
Samuel
Sea.
Jackson is Deep Blue Sea. He's giving a sentence. A speech. He's coming out saying, look, everybody shut up. What we are gonna do is, shark comes
the shark comes out and eats him. Have you ever seen Clerks, the animated series?
I've seen some of them.
There's
I
an
haven't seen all of them.
episode where Samuel L. Jackson keeps appearing, and then a shark comes out of nowhere and eats him. Just every time they do the Fonzie thing where Fonzie jumps the shark, and the shark jumps up and eats Samuel L. Jackson.
It's too bad because the movie wasn't that big, but really people watch it for that scene. Cut it off afterwards if you want to.
No, that movie's cool because the first time you watch it, you have no idea who's going to live. They totally break conventions with that movie.
Yeah.
All the characters you think are going to die live, and all the characters you think are going to live, they do something heroic. Like normally in the movie, they do something stupid, but it's heroic, and they end up living as a result.
Yeah.
They die. Saffron Burrows jumps into the water to save the guy, and the shark just goes, yomp.
Yeah, no, they killed the finest chick in the movie, and and we're not ruining anything because it's a stupid movie.
It's a stupid fun movie. Well, it was one of those movies where the director, I'm blanking on the name of the guy right now, but he was just like, look, we've already seen this movie before. It's called Jaws. So you know what? This time I'm going to show the shark every chance I get. It's just going to be about the shark.
And it's one of those movies where anytime an animal is intelligent, the first thing they want to do is kill.
Yeah.
They want to get back at mankind.
That's right.
And that's what this movie was. There's sharks, but they're smart. And it's like, oh, come on, give me a fucking break, man. But
that
anyway.
leads us into number 2.
Knights and Rodanthe, which I'm putting up a review for it tonight. I had a review ready for Friday, but traveling I
wanted to see this one, and I actually missed it.
Okay, look, I know you are the romantic. It's not even romantic comedy. This is
this isn't romantic comedy. This is Nicholas Sparks, and Nicholas Sparks makes movies that make you cry like a bitch.
And so this
he
is
writes books.
He wrote the Notebook.
Notebook, Message in a Bottle, A Walk to Remember, and now this.
And this is like pretty much all the sappiness taken from those previous books and films and pretty much it's siphoned into this.
So should they have called it what it looks like it should have been called, which is Old People Fucking?
Well, see, they ain't that old. You know, they still, because Diane Lane, she's still hot, I think.
That's because anyone who's white and is old is still hot to you. You've got a picture of B. Arthur sitting behind you that you're ready to wax to as soon as I leave the room. Hey, let's. No,
not B. Arthur. I want the
Girls isn't sitcom.
I want the oldest Golden Girl. B. Arthur a little too young for me. But no, the Diane Lane in this movie, she's still hot. I mean, that's the thing about it. You look at Richard Gere and Diane Lane, it's like, okay, you can see why these two people are fucking each other, but still, it's like that.
But it is old people fucking.
Okay, yeah. Granted, they're a little older, but I mean, come on, man. This movie is nothing but okay. I came here because I'm troubled. We're caught in a hurricane. There's nothing for us to do but get naked and have sex with each other. That's what the movie. And we're gonna fall in love in one weekend. After 2 days. I mean, that must have been a good piece of ass for him to just because they write letters back and forth, and it's really sappy, man. I mean, and I like the Notebook. I got made fun of.
Is sappy or not? Did it make you cry like a bitch?
No, it did not.
Did the Notebook make you cry?
Yes, the Notebook made me cry.
And Notebook makes anybody cry.
I don't care what make fun of me. I don't give a fuck. Dude, my manhood is strong.
You cannot resist. The Notebook is the single saddest premise known to man. You even think about the premise. You start. I mean, you're sitting there right now, and I see your eyes like watering up. You're just like, I'm gonna fight it. You read that book to her every goddamn day.
No, it's like life was so cruel, but look.
And then they die together. But see, it's so beautiful.
I challenge anybody right now. People gonna look at it and say, like, I didn't cry, but you fucking cried.
You fucking cried. And if you didn't, I don't want to know you because you're probably a sociopath that tortures cats.
See, in the Notebook, they show you the trailer, and the trailer is the cheesiest thing you've ever seen. They don't tell you what the real deal of the movie is.
No, because that's the whole kicker.
Yeah, and when I saw that, I was like, I even said to myself, I was like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like love, man. Love will carry them through, and it just doesn't work out that way.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
no,
damn.
It's a tearjerker.
But Nice and Rodanthe is stripped down to like is bare, cheesy, over romanticized moments, and it's not that great. But hey, Diane Lane still pulling them in. Now you talk about power duo. I guess Richard Gere and her were able to say, hey, people are interested in seeing this. And it did say from the makers of the Notebook. So all that combined together, movie didn't open up that great, $13.4 million. So,
but how could it when it was compared to the awesome might of #1,
Eagle Eye?
Eagle Eye, baby.
So did you love Eagle Eye?
I dug Eagle Eye. I didn't love Eagle Eye. I dug it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I thought it was a fun movie. I really dug the premise. But like all of DJ's previous movies, the third act gets a little stale. He takes these great ideas.
DJ Caruso.
He takes these great ideas. He makes very original feeling films where he takes old ideas, but he updates them and makes them fresh and cool. And then he's like, oh, we'll just end it like a typical Hollywood movie.
Yeah. Did well, as expected, $29.1 million. Star power of Shia LaBeouf. And a good premise. Now, look, people jump my shit about this, man. This is one of those movies I could not win from losing. It's like either people came back and said, I really like this, or most people came back and said, oh, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. How could you give this movie a matinee? And I have to agree with them.
And that's exactly what I would have given it. It's a matinee.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen, especially when they reveal what Eagle Eye really is.
I don't think that's dumb. I liked that idea, and I liked where they went. But then when you go back and I was talking to another film critic, Devin Farici, who's one of just the harshest critics I know. He writes for Chud, and he's like, but this, and when the cables break, then it's just magic. Because how can you actually do that? And I'm just like, oh shit, you're right.
No, if you go back and put everything together,
you put it together, and it's like, that doesn't make much sense at all.
No, it is. I would dare say idiotic. But see, here's where the movie worked for me. Look, a lot of movies do this. It moves so fast that you're not really thinking about that.
No.
I mean, even in the movie, I'm thinking, that's stupid. Because I had to come out and tell. Some people walked out of it and they literally loved it. And I was like, I can't love it because it's dumb, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah. No, it was. That's the thing about Caruso's movies, man. It's bam, 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 bam. He does not let up. It just keeps going and going. And this movie really was well paced. And every time there's a twist, it changes the whole nature of the movie, and you're just reeling from it. And I really dug where it was going at the end there. And then I felt it kind of pulled back and cheaped out a bit. But I thought, I just like you, I felt it was a matinee. I enjoyed it. But it's not something that I'm going to need to own on DVD.
Yeah, and tell me you didn't like Billy Bob Thornton when he came on every now and then. I mean,
Billy Bob is one of those infinitely likable guys. When they give him a good character, not a sleazebag to play, he's just so good old boy that you can't help but love him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in this movie, see, that's what I'm saying. I know it was dumb. I mean, I would tell people if you're one of those people, so you think I can't look over illogical stuff. If you keep the pace going long enough, I'll ride with it, even if I know it's stupid. But if you're one of those people who just can't, no matter how well paced the movie is, it's not for you. I was able to look past it and say, hey, it's a dumb, fun movie.
Right now, what you're wrestling with, you're dealing with all the Shia blowback, where people are starting to hate on Shia because he's so successful, and they're like, this isn't, why is everybody always talking about this guy? Why does everybody want to see these movies? This guy isn't any good. And it's you're having to wrestle with that.
I got that too. People were saying the first comments on there when we put up the review, Shia can't act. Well, a few years ago we thought he could.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
And if it's not, no, let's go. Go.
Go.
It's how everybody notices that, and it's like nobody's saying it's a coincidence. Everybody's like saying, "Here's that line." No. In fact, we have a video coming out tomorrow with that.
Have you seen the YouTube thing?
What was it?
Oh, somebody went and linked together every time he does it. It's like a minute long of just him saying the word no. And it's I mean, Transformers, he does it constantly. In Eagle Eye, he only does it like once.
Yeah, and that's what he did in Eagle Eye. He's like, go. I remember that scene, and in fact, we put it in the review. We have a video coming out either tomorrow or Wednesday, what is a montage of what if Spielberg tried to put Shia LaBeouf in all of his previous movies, because Spielberg loves that guy. And every scene is him just going, no.
Really loves that kid.
I like Shia LaBeouf. I just think that, hey, the guy's getting overexposed, and he's given like shallow projects. He's not given anything to really test his acting skills.
No, but the thing is, he doesn't need to. What he needs to do right now that he's done all the big stuff, he needs to go off and do an independent movie or two, because we've seen him act and he's great.
Yeah.
He has shown that he's really good. He is very charismatic. But right now, I mean, there's one guy like this every year. Mm-hmm. Every year we get this guy. You know, I remember in 98 it was Vince Vaughn, and then in like 2000
it was Vin Diesel at one point.
At one point it was Vin Diesel. He was all over the place. And then there was the year where you couldn't throw a stick without hitting a movie with what's his
the British guy? Are you thinking
there's
real good looking
Law.
guy? Jude Law.
There's Jude Law, but also then there was the year we couldn't get away from Colin Farrell.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, this always happens. And right now it's Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf is that guy that you cannot escape from.
And if you notice, a lot of these people do that. They'll pull back, except for somebody. Well, even Vin Diesel tried it. Vin Diesel did Find Me Guilty.
No, Vin Diesel didn't try to pull back. Vin Diesel found it very hard to find work. Is the problem with Vin Diesel.
Well, I mean, that's what it comes down to. I mean, at some point you're going to get overexposed. And Vin Diesel, when he did Find Me Guilty, unfortunately the movie didn't do all that well, but I thought he was great in that.
No, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was his best movie in a long time.
Colin Farrell went off and did In Bruges, and I thought that was a pretty good movie for him. Except it was him. He was going around running his mouth and trying to fuck everything. So that wasn't much of a stretch for him in an independent movie. I
didn't know they made a movie about your life.
How did I not know that was coming?
I don't know how you didn't know that was coming.
Even
and I don't know why you had a problem with that character either.
Even though you seem more relaxed, you same old shit.
Same old shit, different at Coco, my man. That was for you, Alex.
The hacker. You're right. We always say that everybody need to go back and they need to go and do independent things, whether it be direct an independent movie, which is harder, starring an independent movie.
He needs to go and choose he needs to play a fucked up character. He needs to play a drug user, or he needs to play somebody in a very
retarded guy.
No, Shia does not need to, because dude, that's just fuel for the fire at this point.
Yeah.
It's
too obvious now.
At this point,
I was joking.
Hollywood isn't going to be able to put out a film about a mentally handicapped person for 3 or 4 years, because the next one that does it, everybody's going to make the full retard joke.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to completely dismantle the movie.
I mean, because it
was go full retard.
Look, yeah, exactly. Did you go full retard? I'm the dude playing the retard. No, it got to a point. It was so obvious that people were biased for people who were playing retarded people, unless you were Cuba Gooding Jr., which was just in radio. That was just ridiculous.
Well, no. The problem is that we only like it when white guys
I wasn't going to say
play retarded people. But at that point, Cuba Gooding Jr. had already done Boat Trip, and it was over.
Yeah, it's like, we don't care.
Radio, that's good. You go on your boat.
Yeah, you were retarded in that other movie, too, Boat Trip.
But see, radio went full retard.
Yeah, it should do.
Radio was full retard.
They had a scene where they meant for it to be kind of heartwarming and sympathetic, but it was just ridiculously funny. He was out in the rain playing football, and he had those teeth hanging out, and he had the funny look on his face, like, oh, and it was like,
radio. Oh God.
Hey, radio, I got a basket. But so yeah, Shia LaBeouf, man. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. LaBeouf. I like him, and I have no problem with him. He's just, I have a problem with him making too many movies every summer of the same special effects type shit. So come on,
he's good at it.
Yeah,
we don't have anybody else in that range right now.
You just don't want to see him do it anymore.
You know what? I did say this today. Somebody, people are saying, "Oh, he's the next Harrison Ford." That is horse shit. Harrison Ford was a gruff, manly man, even back in the day.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf is the new Michael J. Fox.
Oh, come on.
No, dude, Michael J. Fox made a lot of good movies back in the 80s. Come on, the Back to the Future movies. No, he was the big special effects, lovable kid that everybody loved. Now, he didn't do as many because he had a hit TV show.
Yeah.
Shia LaBeouf doesn't have a TV show anymore, and he's able to go off and do, all these movies that Michael J. Fox would have done. No, that's not an insult. He's the lovable, comic relief, plucky young guy. The kind of actor that you would love your daughter to come home and introduce as her boyfriend.
You see, my compliment to Shia LaBeouf is that I don't think Michael J. Fox ever really tackled doing serious. I mean, he did it. Like, he did that Brian De Palma movie about Vietnam. Yeah. What was that called? Casualties of War. And he was still Michael J. Fox, and people were like, he's too lovable for this. But I think Shia LaBeouf, especially now that he's been in the media, having said, and it's all kind of been rumored too. I mean, he's not as bad as they say he is, but drunk driving, walking into Walgreens looking crazy. I think,
dude, having been somebody who's actually gotten drunk with Shia,
well, people I think they see him as having a dark side. And
it makes him a little rough around the edges.
Well, even if he doesn't, I'm thinking people like, okay, this guy's a party guy. He can do something darker than this.
Yeah, he can, but it's not a dark side. He's like us. He likes to knock back a few brews.
Well, I'm looking at these movies, and even this lighthearted special effects shit. I mean, I still think that he might not have the gruffness of Harrison Ford, but I think he's a little scruffier than Michael J. Fox. Now, this is what I disagree with. I heard some people try to compare him as saying, this is my problems with saying that this guy is going to be the next so-and-so, because no, let them be who they are.
Yeah.
But they tried to say that he's going to be the next Robert Downey Jr., and I was like, how the fuck did you get that?
Even Robert Downey Jr. was doing wacky roles back in, you look at his stuff back in the 80s, there's a lot of pathos in that stuff. Shia hasn't done a Less Than Zero, and I haven't seen a performance out of him that would lead me to believe that he's a Less Than Zero kind of guy. I mean, I
don't think he shot cocaine into his eyeballs or anything.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that Robert Downey Jr. has come from, he's got some dark places to draw from, and that's what's made him so incredible.
Yeah, I mean,
Shia does not. In fact, what's funny was in talking to him, he talked about the fact that when he did, God, I forget the name. It was the second Project Greenlight movie.
The second one, and Shia LaBeouf was in that.
Yeah, he was in that.
And it wasn't Feast. It was
No. Feast was the third one.
the third one.
But
Okay.
he was in the second one, and I forget what the name of it was. But he even said that he had just come off of Disney and he wanted to change his image, so he swore every chance he could get while he was being filmed for Project Greenlight, so that people would see him as an adult. That he had to dress up the dark side in order to separate himself from Disney. Which, I mean, keep in mind, this kid came from Disney. He's a Disney Channel kid.
Yeah, no,
Even Stevens.
Yeah, even Stevens, and then he did Holes, which is still a family film. But looking at Holes, I first said, that guy, he's got something. That guy's he's
And then
good.
he was fantastic in The Greatest Game Ever Played.
I never saw that, but I heard
He's
that he's
really
really
great
good.
in it.
Yeah,
It's classic Shia.
heard it's an underrated movie. Directed by Bill Paxton, right? Yeah. No, Leon saw that and told me that it was a great movie.
It is.
And it just kind of went under the radar.
A golf movie would be so exciting.
Well, you get to
after the barn burner that was Tin Cup.
Oh, yeah. No. Well, in The Greatest Game Ever Played, you get to see everything from the viewpoint of the golf ball.
Well, there were some shots where we got the golf ball shot. Yeah,
but he's like the underdog in that movie, and everybody plays that well. So I mean, Shia LaBeouf. I'm not riding on this whole I hate Shia LaBeouf bandwagon, but yeah, pull back a little bit and go off and do something a little more independent. So
yeah, I want to see him do an independent film or two where he really grabs onto some meat and says, shut the fuck up. I mean, keep in mind, there was a time, 94 to 96, where we were just bitching about this Pretty Boy. Oh my God, can you believe this fucking Brad Pitt? The guy can't act. He's just pretty, and girls are just soiling their panties for him. And then he did 12 Monkeys, and we were like, holy shit. And then he did 7, and we were like, this dude's awesome.
Yeah.
And,
well, he came off of some movies where he wasn't very good. 7 Years in Tibet, and he wasn't that good in.
Oh, and The Favor, and
Yeah.
Cool World.
Cool World, that was a mess. That whole movie was a mess. I won't even blame him.
You don't blame Ralph Bakshi?
I will blame, well, no, I won't even blame Ralph Bakshi.
I didn't think you would.
No, because
he's your hero.
Well, actually hearing him talk, he said Cool World was a movie he just didn't give a shit about in the middle of production. He talks shit. He says, I hated that they put Kim Basinger in there. He was mean about it. He's like, they put this old chick in here dancing around all sexy. He said, I wanted to get Drew Barrymore to play that role. I had this story about what happens if a guy has sex with a cartoon and all this stuff goes crazy. Like, they made it into something that is not. He's like, yeah, I hated that movie. Ralph Bakshi will say, I hate that movie. So, hey, I'll be the first to tell you, Ralph Bakshi cannot write that well. So I'm not above trash. I mean, that's my opinion.
I love how I just mentioned that and you just went off on it. Now, hold on.
No, I want people to understand, because people tried to say, hey, you know what? Corey gave Eagle Eye matinee just because he interviewed the director. It's like, man, you know what?
Did you interview Caruso?
Yeah, and Alex Kurtzman. So they were real cool. I was thinking about putting it back up this week just because the movie's out, because I put it up a week earlier. But they were really cool guys, man.
Yeah, no, DJ's top notch, man. He's great.
Sat down, and after the interview was over, I mean, he sat down and kept talking for 10 minutes, and I was like, man, don't you have somewhere to be? I was like,
No. He's literally, he is a very cool guy. He's one of those really down to earth dudes.
Yeah.
But he exists in a bizarre system. I mean, he's caught up in the whole Spielberg DreamWorks machine, and that's a very bizarre place to be.
He talked about that, and he talked about how, look, it's a bizarre place to be because these guys are looking at their hero. I mean, it's like, hey, I'm working with a guy that I never really even thought I'd be around at any point in my life. So,
and Eagle Eye was entirely one of those things where Steven Spielberg said, hey, I've got a great idea for a movie. Hey, why don't you guys go take this idea of mine and make it?
Yeah.
And there's Eagle Eye.
So, both those guys, the screenwriter Alex Kurtzman, I mean, even though I thought the story was dumb, I mean, nice guys, though, man. They're real nice guys. I can't come down on guys too hard that are real cool. I'll say what I will about the movie, but no, I did not give the movie a good rating.
No, the movie was a fun movie. It's not a great movie. It's not going to be something we remember. I put it up there with Disturbia. I enjoyed Disturbia. I thought it was a fun movie that was really solid and then kind of falls apart in the third act.
Yeah.
But not falls apart to where it's not enjoyable. It just goes on autopilot. It's like, yeah, this movie's going to end the way you expect it to from here on out. We're going to go out and have a cigarette while you figure out the rest of the film. And
Shia LaBeouf, go sniff cocaine through your anus and go crazy. Go do something wild and then go make a movie. That's what he needs to do. That's just my opinion right there. Boy, it's a dead silence. Look at that. I actually left you speechless.
Cocaine through his anus.
Yes.
That I didn't need that image.
That's what his next movie should be about.
Yeah, it'll be. I think that's Garfield 3. Is the plot. I mean, frankly,
that cat is talking.
Holy shit! Fuck, talking. The cat's. Holy God! I think I finished all my Coke.
Well, okay. Now we were talking about this movie, Fireproof.
Fireproof.
Now, a lot of people are like me. They looked at the top 10 and they were like, Fireproof. Is this something that I missed? Who's in this movie? What is it all about? And then you look at it and you see, first of all, you see Kirk Cameron and you're like, oh, okay. It's one of those Christian movies. Yeah. And it's probably exactly what you think it is. Movie was made for $500,000. Now you're probably thinking, how does a movie for $500,000 make $6 million on its opening weekend?
That's how Tyler Perry is so successful.
Well, hey, look, you talk about a grassroots movement. This is a church, a Sherwood church that made this movie. They decide we're going to make movies.
Yeah.
So they get, I mean,
and look at the rousing success that Plan 9 from Outer Space was for the churches that invested in that.
What was the church? Was that
that's the whole history. No. That's the whole history of Plan 9 from Outer Space. He couldn't get regular funding, so he got a church group to invest in it.
What he told us about God or something?
I can't even recall how he convinced them to do it.
Well,
look, they funded his movie.
Well, today, I mean, there's a movement to counter what a lot of Christian organizations believe to be a culture that is ravaged with just impurities and bad influences, and they want to combat that. I mean, it is a solid movement on their part, and so this church. I mean, we got mega churches now that could probably fund movies on their own like this.
They actually do fund movies on their own.
Well, I don't know anything about Sherwood Church. I'm going to guess that it's probably a mega church of some sort, and so they decided to make movies. I think they made 3
mega churches. They're going to transform into a robot and fight alien invaders. Dear God, it's a mega church.
Mega church. Rejuvenate.
Mega church fighting for your sins.
Well, when you say mega church, for me, I'm expecting to go in there and have it be like a super Walmart. You can go shopping at night. You can buy groceries and shit. So
I want to get the yellow ultra mega church.
Exactly. There's a McDonald's in there. You know, I mean, you got fucking Ronald McDonald and a fucking
mega church. For those of you that aren't familiar, they're big here in the South, especially in Central Texas.
Oh yeah,
where you have about 10,000 people at a 10 church in stadium seating indoors. Though they're not outside in some like football stadium. It's a big ass church where 10,000 people sit and sing Hosanna to God in the highest.
But it's even more than that. They have actually gone as far as to offer services. Some might even stay. They might stay open for 24 hours sometime, offering counseling, childcare. Some of them, I think, might even have shops. And so I'm not shitting about this. I mean, I think there was said that some might actually offer bookstores, coffee shops, and
nothing like making a dime off the name of Christ.
No, exactly, because he was a capitalist.
You know, that was one of the books that was excised out of the King James edition. Actually, was the one that explained how to profit properly off of our Lord and Savior.
Well, that's my problem with this. I mean, I'm kind of caught between two things. I like the fact that you can offer people counseling and you can offer people services at any time, because I think that's what a church should be for. However, there is a capitalist aspect to this that freaks me out, and I don't know what it is about that does that, but I just get the feeling that somebody who has these claim to have these noble aspirations are they're making a profit off of this and being very materialistic behind that. That's just my impression. I haven't been there. I get that feeling. That's all.
It does depend on what they do with the profits after the fact.
Yeah. Now, if I see a lot of people with big houses and big cars and whatnot, and I'm not saying you shouldn't live the American dream, but it's just something about, as you said, the nobility of religion, at least the teachings of Christ.
Well, and I mean, I come from a background where I grew up Catholic, and one of my favorite priests was a priest named Father Marcos, and he was a Franciscan, and so he didn't own anything. He literally lived in a Franciscan monastery in downtown San Antonio, and he used a car that was provided by the diocese, and any money he made, he would spend on members of the church.
Yeah, see, I don't know what to say, man. I mean,
it's always been weird for me to see certain, like, especially mega church pastors who are very wealthy, especially when many of their constituents aren't.
Yeah, no, and I agree. So, I mean, I'd see these things, but look, I grew up in all black churches, and we from what I've seen, we very rarely had the preachers who were who were practicing what they preach. I mean, we always had the preacher coming up, driving the nice car, wearing the big suit and the gold, and with the gold tooth. It's Brother Coleman, where's Sister Coleman at? Where your mother and all that kind, coming over to eat after church and just trying to get a free meal. And I'm like, I don't know, man, about this shit. So it just gives me a weird feeling. But this church, I don't know anything about it. I'm not going to judge it. I think it's just an amazing, no matter what my opinion is about the movie, this Sherwood Church, they actually fund these movies. And what they've done is they've gone out and created a grassroots movement to have Christian organizations buy out the tickets. Now, that's kind of shady in a way, because if we're going to think like, oh, wow, this movie kind of made it off the merit of being a good movie. I've seen the trailer for this film. It looks good. For $500,000, it looks pretty good. But it looks like a well-made, straight-to-DVD, a TV movie. And now I'm scared, because I'm thinking, all right, well, guess who's going to jump on the bandwagon? Hollywood.
Well, no. The thing is that they've tried. Fox Faith has been trying.
I remember that.
Well, they're still around.
Are they still around?
Yeah, no, they're still around. The problem is they don't screen it for critics, because they know the critics are going to savage them, because they're not good films. But they try to get the churches to these organizations to get behind them, and they won't. They just don't. The reason why this did what it did was Kirk Cameron, and Kirk Cameron is a Christian superstar.
And it was a subject matter too here. It was the movie's about a fireman who was, it's not one of those, Left Behind sort of science fiction tinge. No. Well, not even science fiction, but it has it has, I'm not saying that, I don't want to offend Christians by saying this is fantasy, but Left Behind has a feeling of something like Stephen King's The Stand, or even, they even try to go for the epic feel of,
the Left Behind series is very much science fiction. And you know what? Anybody that has a problem with that, I will gladly have a discussion with you, and you can cite scripture to me, and you can try to explain to me where in the Bible it actually says this. No, it's a bunch of guys that sat around and dreamt up this idea. A guy wrote a book series about it. It has no script. There's no basis in scripture that this comes out of the Bible at all.
Well, this particular movie is about a fireman who's having trouble with his wife. In fact, the tagline is, never leave your partner behind, which makes you think like, oh, there's a couple of gay guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought that was the story of me and you going to San Francisco.
Yeah, like with a couple of Chippendales and fireman outfits. I won't leave you behind, Carlisle.
Don't leave my behind, Corey.
All right, look at you. You just have to take it that step further.
This is fantastic.
But with this, because they make it about family and having a troubled marriage, rely on his Christian faith, and
I
try
want to go see that Kirk Cameron movie. He's dreamy.
Let's put on our fire pants and our hats. Don't forget your axe.
It's raining Kirk. Hallelujah.
We should do that. We should go see Fireproof dressed up as firemen, like Chippendale firemen, and walk in there. Is this seat taken?
Oh no.
Excuse me, sir.
The problem is we're in Austin. We'd be the only two people at the movie. Did it even open here?
I don't think so. I'll look and see. It's funny if it did show here, like we'd be the only two guys in the theater dressed up with no shirts and fireman pants and hats, and like, nah, this didn't work out like we thought it would, did it?
This would have been a lot funnier if we weren't alone. Now it's just kind of creepy.
I want to go get a milkshake, but so this is about trying to work out a marriage using your Christian faith. So they were able to get people such as the American Family Association and Focus on the Family, things like that. And they just made a big movement. Yeah.
I hate Focus on the Family.
And they got this big movement.
I hate those guys.
And yeah, they complaining, but yeah, I'm not going to even get into it, but yes, it's those guys. And so they were able to gather a lot of people to buy out tickets on the first weekend, probably that Friday and that Saturday. And then they like said, hey, you know what? Look at this, $6 million just because we got people all riled up.
Yay, we took your money. Awesome.
Exactly. Now, so if you want to make a movie, look, fuck independent, make a Christian movie.
I just wanted to be there as the dads walked out with their kids and families going, shit, we should have gone to Eagle Eye.
Yeah. fuck, I was gonna divorce your mom when I got home. Now I gotta act like a good guy and shit for you little motherfuckers. God damn it.
Man, was that lame. God.
Go watch that
Sam Jackson movie again.
Yeah, that motherfucker. Now that's a crazy guy.
That's a crazy
I'm gonna watch a crazy person. I'm gonna watch Samuel Jackson. But man, see, I don't know. Like I said, hey, good for Kirk Cameron for doing what he wants to do, and even good for this movie company, this church/movie company, for the success that they had. I think if you want to look at a good model, I mean, look at how people move.
Well, I've always said that you can make great films with no money, and that's where you can make a real profit. I mean, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be all explosion special effects. Look at how much Eagle Eye cost versus how much it made, and look at how much this cost versus how much it made. You just have to find your audience and play to your audience, and that's what they did here.
No, I was gonna say I'm nervous. I know what you said, Fox Faith and all that, and I'm just nervous that they're gonna try this again because this was way successful. It came out of nowhere, and I mean, it's a TV movie that went to the theater.
And who cares? I mean, the thing is we're not going to have to watch it. It's not made for us, and it certainly didn't take the #1 spot, and it certainly didn't make enough money to make Hollywood go, "Hey, we should make all of our films this way." So,
yeah, and the real test will be next weekend, where I'm sure it'll be gone. It'll disappear by next weekend.
It might be vapor. It might go away.
Yeah,
or who knows? It could have actually been good, and people might tell their friends.
Watch that trailer.
Hey, you know what? I've seen trailers that look awful for movies that are great, and I've seen movies that are,
Carlisle, watch that trailer. This is a special interest movie. This is a movie where
yeah, but it's a special interest movie, but who's to say that the Christians didn't dig the hell out of it?
I was being very fair and saying, look, I thought that the production on it was good for $500,000.
Yeah, but you're the guy that gave matinee to Eagle Eye, so what the fuck do you know?
Yeah, like I was the only one in here. You motherfucker. But no, I admire the business model. That should be noticed. I mean, from anything, but I just don't want to see cheap ass movies come out that look like this, where people are I don't want to see this shit flooding theaters now because people are trying to make movies on the cheap. I doubt it'll happen like that. This is an overreaction on my part, but I got to talk shit about it in that aspect.
Well, it is going to happen. I mean, we have got now the more digital theaters we have, the easier it is for movies to go from area to area like they used to do in the old times. And, that this is why the Galaxy always is playing one weird ass film. Like, you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Like, the Galaxy is, this is this digital theater all of us go to. The Galaxy here in town is responsible for the lowest, the lowest grossing film of all time.
Which was
Zizix.
What was that?
It was literally, you're going to love this. You got to look it up. It's a film that wasn't really supposed to get a release. They were putting it out on DVD, and somebody for some reason decided they wanted to put it on a screen somewhere, and they put it on the screen here in Austin, Texas, at a theater, the Galaxy. And they put it in the Galaxy, and they didn't contact the press. We never got notified. They never gave us a press screening. They didn't do any advertising. They just figured they'd get walk-in traffic. They made $30. Opening weekend.
What was this movie about? Zizix. How you spell that shit, first of all?
It's like ZZYZZX, something like that.
ZZY. What was it about? An alien
I don't
or something?
even remember. I'm not one of the $30, dude. A six of
I'm
that
watching
is
this
not
shit
mine.
tonight. Zizix.
I mean, it was. I'm pretty sure that was the name, but it made $30 here at the Galaxy because they brought it there and they didn't bother to pimp it at all. And they literally got like 5 people who walked up and bought tickets. They're like,
nobody can say that shit. I'll get one for Zizix, bless you. No, I'll get Zizix, bless you. Oh, fuck it, I'll go see Lake.
I remember seeing the poster there, and when I read the Variety story about it, it blew my mind. I'm like, shit, I totally should have. I could have actually paid $6, and then it would have been $36, and I would have been able to go. I'm 1/6 of the total gross of that movie.
I contributed to history in the making.
It was one of those times where I kicked myself, where I'm like, shit, that would have been so cool.
But you know something? You're right, man. They're always showing something weird. I remember they showed something like the comeback tour to Depeche Mode, and it's like, who the fuck is gonna go see that?
Depeche Mode.
Depeche Mode. Who would I'm a big fan. Actually, I do like
Depeche Mode. It's pretty fucking good, dude.
I ain't gonna say shit. Okay.
Enjoy the silence.
What was my favorite Depeche? What it's Depeche, right? Depeche Mode.
Depeche.
I'm taking a ride with my best friend. You remember that?
No.
Yeah, Never Let Me Down. You know, remember that song? Never let me down. Never let me down. I'm not singing it that terribly that you can't remember.
I not that big a Depeche Mode fan.
Okay.
I guess the only thing wrong with that was that you couldn't pronounce Depeche.
Shit, fuck it. Who cares, man? I guess I'm not that big
of a great actor, Joe Depeche.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe Depeche Mode.
That
means I want him on the side.
Let's see. Before I move on here, I just want to say in a similar thing. I know we want to move on real quick, but I can't help but mention this. When I was leaving the airport, when I arrived in New York, I saw the latest Ebony magazine, and Tyler Perry was on there.
Still make that?
Yeah, man. Ebony magazine is a strong magazine. Yeah, money maker, man. And Tyler Perry was on the cover, and look, regardless of what I say about Tyler Perry's movies, that's a man to study. That is a guy to look at. Anybody who wants to be a filmmaker, I'm not saying you can do what he did. I mean, that guy is a one in a million story.
You can do what he did. You find the market that's being neglected. You make the film that they want to see for as cheap as possible, and you turn a profit every time, and they'll hand you the keys to Hollywood.
Well, it's all easier said than done, right? I mean, we can agree on that. But what I'm saying is that this is a man who went out, and what I always tell people, because we always have people say, "Hey, I want to do this, I want to do that. I want to be a filmmaker. I want to direct movies. I want to write scripts and whatnot." And look, Tyler Perry is a guy that did it, and this is a guy who's still not working in Hollywood. He's working from Atlanta. He goes to Hollywood when he has to, but he doesn't even.
But if you don't have to work in Hollywood, you don't.
No, you don't. He even says, look, working in Hollywood, you have people there who are trying to justify their jobs and their hands get in the way. He's like, I make these movies cheap. And that's what we're talking about with this church. I make these movies cheap. I make them fast, and I make a profit, and I can keep making the same thing regardless of whether you like it or not. And I don't even have to really go there that much. I can work in Atlanta and do this. And it's an amazing thing. I won't go into the details, but I know even if you're white, and you want to be a filmmaker, look at this. I know.
Even if you're white.
It's like for white people who.
Because you know.
You know, man, come on. White people don't want to pick up Ebony magazine. That's like, you can see, see some white kid trying to pick up Ebony magazine. He might as well be trying to smuggle that out like porn. I can't be seen with this.
It's like, yeah, pick it up with a copy. No, it's the. What are you gonna? I mean, you're afraid of that look, like, oh, I know what kind of white person you are.
Oh, you read this smut, huh? It's Ebony.
No, it's not smut. It has nothing to do. It's you're the kids are afraid of being known as a wannabe. What we grew up knowing as a wigger.
Well, it could be that, or it could be like you're just gonna get looks like, why are you buying this? Hey, look, I know what it's like because I worked at a company where we had to actually work on a game that involved girls, like teenage girls. So I had to like go and buy teenage magazines, like teeny bopper magazines, especially ones with girls on there.
Oh,
so we could get the girl fashion.
To do that.
Man, we did, man. We had to bring it in because we had meetings where we had to go through this stuff. And I was like buying 2 or 3 Tiger Beat, Teen Bop, whatever. And like the guy at the counter is looking at me like, especially for the woman, like, right, sure, you know.
See, and you weren't on the sly enough to say it's for my niece.
Well, it's going to seem suspicious no matter what.
Yeah.
And so I just say.
But see, that's a little different because that's actually at the point where it's like, all right, you know.
You like the little boys and girls, do you?
14-year-old Justin Timberlake. Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm walking out, you know, little girls and little boys wearing overalls and shit. Yeah, you like that, do you? Huh? All right. And all of a sudden, I got the camera on you when you're walking out and shit.
Not exactly like that with Tyler Perry on the cover.
No.
That's not a pretty man.
Tyler Perry's a good-looking guy, man. Tyler Perry's when hey, look at the magazine cover. I wish I had it right. I don't have it in front of me.
They could make me look good-looking on the cover of Ebony.
Tyler Perry's a stylish guy.
It's all airbrushing.
Look, probably so. I went out there because on the cover he does have a glow. That like, man,
a lot of brown, but.
Yeah, no, you black people are greasy on the lights. I mean, you ain't fooling nobody. But you look like a bucket of fries trying to shoot under some cameras. But just get the article and read it, and it should be an inspiration to anybody who wants to make movies. And it's short and it's not that hard to read. Ebony magazine costs like about $4, so grab it and read it. Anyway, real quick, I know everybody's talking about Marvel and whether or not these movies are going to get made or not. There's an article where they're talking about the profit that they made from Paramount with the release of Iron Man on DVD. They're talking about how it's going back into the company and it's going to help finance 5 films later on down the line. Those 5 films being Iron Man 2, Thor, The First Avenger. Iron Man 2, Thor, The First Avenger, Captain America, and The Avengers. Now, they're saying right here that this is what they're planning on making, because there's been some pullback saying, well, maybe they're not going to make those now. We don't know what's going to happen. So now they're back on there documenting this as saying, hey, we're going to make these movies. And Marvel's an independent company now.
The head of the movie division was kind of had his head up his ass for a little while, and then people smacked him around and got him back in line.
Was he thinking about not doing it for a while?
I don't think they were thinking about not doing it. I think it was probably internal politics. But at one point, there was that whole thing where they didn't sign up Favreau. They just assumed he would get on board, and if he didn't take the gig for as little as they wanted to offer him,
that
get
story.
Somebody else, and then everybody in the geek community said, "You're out of your goddamn fucking mind. You don't. This is how you end up with shitty sequels. This is exactly how it happens. Textbook." Fucking listen, give him the money he wants, give Robert Downey the money he wants, and make a badass second film.
And nobody's going to ask for that much crazy money. They're asking for what they're
worth.
worth.
The check, and then all of a sudden Favreau's like, we're working on it now, and I'm fine with the deadline they gave me.
So hopefully those movies will be good. I know there was also some speculation after the Hulk came out, because the Hulk was not as successful as they wanted it to be. So looks like they're back on track to make these movies.
I think we've just proven that the Hulk is not the franchise everybody wishes it would be.
There was some problems with that release, though. Like I said, it had the cloud of that old movie over it, and they released a trailer too soon with unfinished special effects, and so people are thinking like, oh, shit, here we go again. Bumps and lessons will be learned, because Marvel's an independent producing company now. Mm-hmm. So they're going to have some bumps and bruises like that.
Now, while we're talking about Marvel, how interesting is that Thor?
Kenneth Branagh?
Yeah.
Is that confirmed now, or is that just a rumor?
That was supposedly confirmed. I got that from, that came from Harry.
Why are they okay? I mean, look, there's a reason why they're probably doing it. And
well, first of all, you need a guy who can do that well. I mean, look at Kenneth Branagh's films that he's directed. He's directed several of them. He's
done a lot of Shakespeare movies. Yeah.
He's directed. Have you not seen Dead Again?
Yeah,
that really cool thriller he directed, and then he did a really cool independent called A Midwinter's Tale, which like 12 people on the planet saw, and I was one of them. I saw it in a theater. I love Kenneth Branagh. I went through a whole Kenneth Branagh phase a long time ago. It was
winking off the Kenneth Branagh posters in your room.
It was super. I loved Kenneth Branagh.
Kenneth. Oh.
I loved when he played Romeo in Romeo and Juliet, and he was like 35. It was awesome.
Well, you've been talking with a list for a lot tonight. I think you really missed me or something.
I told you I was in a good mood. So, but if you look at what he did with Henry V, you look at what he did with Hamlet, what he's done with these period pieces, and taken this stuff that a lot of people think is stale and made it visually just masterful and made that kind of speech work. You're telling a tale of a Norse god.
Yeah.
You are dipping into the well of very dangerous territory. This is the type of thing that, if done wrong, becomes historically bad. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, oh my God, can you believe they did that?
And that's what I'm afraid of with a Thor movie.
Yeah, but we're worried about Beastmaster 2. I mean, that's the nightmare is, the barbarian walking around in the city. And
coming into modern times.
And but the script is apparently brilliant. It's written by Mark Pertasevich, who writes a lot of brilliant scripts that get gutted by Hollywood. But it's being handed over to Kenneth Branagh, and I think that's a great fucking choice.
Yeah, and like you said, for those of you who don't know who Kenneth Branagh is, I think he did that remake, not a remake, but he did Frankenstein with Robert De Niro. You remember that? And I was really, that was pretty bad.
Direct Frankenstein,
and that's the movie they make fun of him about, because he went to the movie with he went to the movie with no shirt on, and he was
he acted in it.
Yeah,
I don't know if he directed that one though. I can't. That was so long ago. That's the one with Robert De Niro.
That's Frankenstein. Yeah, the Frankenstein monster. Yeah, and they were,
and he was in like the pink goo, and it was just. That was not a good Frankenstein.
I'm gonna look this up real quick.
Yeah, you look this up real quick. Well, yeah, no. If you want to learn about Kenneth Branagh, you want to see his best role.
What was that movie that he did? Denzel Washington was in it, and so was
God, you threw me off now.
yeah, Denzel Washington and
Keanu Reeves.
Reeves.
Oh, Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah.
No, that's
a really good
Keanu
movie.
Reeves plays the villain in that one. That one's a fun one. Much Ado About Nothing is one of Shakespeare's comedies. I don't know if he directed that one. He may have, but he definitely starred in that one. Opposite Emma Thompson, and that
used to be his wife.
Yeah. So no, if you really want to see true masterful Kenneth Branagh, track down his Hamlet. He wanted to make the definitive Hamlet in which it had all 3.5 hours of Hamlet. Because Hamlet is like a 3.5 hour play. So he has every word of Hamlet in there. It's got one of the most obscenely huge casts you've ever seen. Every single role in the movie. There's like this bumbling knight who delivers a message, and it's Robin Williams. One of the guards standing outside on top of the castle is played by... one of the original Odd Couple. What's his name? Not Walter Matthau, but
Tony Curtis.
Not Tony Curtis.
Wait a minute, Jack Lemmon.
Jack Lemmon is one of the guard. I mean, it's literally such a huge cast. Ophelia is played by Kate Winslet. And Ryan Blessed plays the king.
Yeah, he did do Frankenstein. He did do Much Ado About Nothing. Yeah, no, I remember Frankenstein clearly because they said that was a big vanity project for him to just jump around with no shirt on, and the movie was bad, and Robert De Niro was made fun of and trying to be Frankenstein's monster.
Bad movies.
Yeah. That was some shitty shit.
That was a shitty fucking movie.
But look, I figured that I don't want to think the worst. I'm always been nervous about a Thor project because Thor is one of the weirdest heroes for me to try to bring into a mixture of other heroes who are obviously of our world.
It really is.
Yeah, and
it's so bizarre. It's trying to mix mythology with it barely works for Wonder Woman. It only works because all of the DC universe is kind of a mythology of its own.
But yeah, I mean, when Marvel started doing that, I mean, read some early Thor. I mean, everything was kind of corny and cheesy, so they could do that. And it was more innocent. Now we're trying to elevate these to drama and true character, and it's like.
And see, personally, I like Mark Millar's version of Thor so much better than any other version of Thor I've ever seen.
So Mark Millar is the guy that wrote Wanted and Kick-Ass
and the Ultimates.
And his
Ultimate Thor is just so odd. The fact that Thor is probably a god from Asgard, but nobody believes him because nobody believes in that shit, regardless of all the other crazy shit. But
I think he's a mental patient. Yeah,
they think he's a mental case, but they don't care because he's a really good guy. But on top of that, he's this drunken Nordic hippie who's like fighting against the WTO. And he fighting to save whales.
He likes to do that. He's an activist, and he likes to go to raves and shit.
He's just fucking cool.
And like so Thor in the original comics, he's got a hammer, and he's a god, and in this one, his hammer might be a secret weapon, and the vest might be a weapon of the government, and so they're thinking like he just stole this shit, and he's a crazy ass dude.
Yeah. So which is what's so great about that whole storyline when they do that, because his brother is Loki, the god of trickery,
and he think he might be playing a trick on him.
Brother, and he's convinced that Loki is pulling this shit, and everyone's like, "Sure, it's your half brother convincing us all."
No, really,
that you're really crazy.
So is that what the script is like? Then are those elements?
I wish that's the kind of story they would tell. I don't think that's the Thor they're giving us. I think the Thor they're giving us is more the classic Thor, because for someone like Harry Knowles to go just apeshit crazy for it, it's got to be something.
But Harry Knowles went crazy over the Revenge of the Sith and the first episode 1 and all that. So I don't know him.
Hear me out. When it comes to his comic book stuff, I'm not talking about movies he's seen. I'm talking about getting, he's really excited about the script. He's been talking to me about the script for 2 years now.
We'll see, man. I believe things when I see them.
No. I'm not saying that means it's going to be good. I know. I'm saying that it means it probably harkens back to classic concepts of Thor.
Okay. Hey, look, I hope so, man. I really do hope so. All right. So, before we get out of here, we got to talk about the man Paul Newman.
Yeah.
Gone. Losing a lot of people, man. Paul Newman's one of them. I mean, they say they're going threes. Shit, fuck that guy just said y'all gonna go in fucking 25s now. So Paul Newman is the latest one to go.
Well, like 3 of them are black, so it only counted as one.
Yeah, okay. You're only a half a person.
Yeah,
we're going by slave rules.
Yeah, it's what is it? 2/5?
The 2/3, 2/5 law, something like that. 2/5 of a human
so,
being.
So 3 of them, is, just over 1.
So Paul Newman is dead at.
There's constitutional law for you.
What was he? 81?
83.
83. Yeah, he was 83. I'm looking at it here. Yeah, 83, man. Look, what can we say? The guy is an acting legend. I mean, we could sit up here and list all the movies that he's been in.
The guy was a legend. He was literally one of the last of the living legends, and he's one of a kind, man.
But he's a great. I mean, look, if we go by what we hear, I didn't hang around Paul Newman. I don't know what he did in his personal life. All I know, he could have been beating the shit out of his wife and burning puppies. But what we know about him is that he was a great humanitarian. Yeah. And Newman's own. I don't know how many people realize this, but Newman's own $250 million in charity because it was a profit organization. Every bit of profit went to charitable organization. No, it's a profit organization. It's for profit. They take the profit and except for taxes, and they use it towards charitable organizations.
Yeah, that's called not for profit. No, they take all the profits and give it away. Not for profit, meaning nobody, Paul Newman isn't making money off this by, as a profit.
It's for profit because the product is making money. He's getting the money. He's just giving it away. So it is for a profit. It is a profit organization. It is a company. It's not like a nonprofit where they, I don't know exactly how nonprofit works, but I know they don't get that much money. They're making a product, putting it out there.
Right. They're making money. But they're not keeping profit.
But they're not keeping. They're giving away to charity.
Every penny that they make off Newman's own stuff goes to all sorts of charities all over the world.
Yeah,
and
nonprofits depend. Here's the deal. Nonprofits depend on donations and whatnot. No, they were selling these for profit. So this is the profit. But anyway, you're right. He sold this. He gave all his money away.
On top of the fact that it's that all that money goes to charity, it's really good shit. I don't know if you're into any of the Newman's Own. There's several products that I buy Newman's Own of.
I was gonna say that man could piss in a bottle and I'll put it on my fucking salad. He made a lot of good stuff. Salsa, the Newman's. Have you had the fig Newman's?
No, I haven't.
That shit is good, man.
The thing that I'm hooked on. He makes his company makes a chocolate espresso candy bar.
Haven't had that.
It's like $2.50. You can find it in the HEB has a whole section in the candy aisle of all the Newman's Own candy bars, and they're so damn good. I mean, that's when I'm working late at night, I'll occasionally slip in and grab myself a Newman's Own candy bar and like nibble on that all night because it's not the type of thing where it's like a Snickers where you down it in like 5 seconds. It's like, hey, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
It's like you nibble on that. You take a piece off.
And you go crazy.
It's just like, oh my god, this is. So it's kind of like a Toblerone that way. You don't eat a Toblerone in one sitting, but well, maybe you do, and you're about the size of a house. But I've always been a big fan of their stuff, the popcorn.
Well, he started out with I think salad dressing, and some people said, "Hey, man, Paul, man, this shit is good. You should try to think about marketing in this." And he just had the good nerve to say, "Hey, you know what? I got enough money. I need to give back to people." So
he was a race car driver and an actor, and in fact, he's the guy who has the infamous story about he stopped signing autographs.
Well, because people are
he actually, the moment he decided to stop signing an autograph, he was using a urinal. And some guy handed him a pad of paper and a pencil and asked him to sign. And he was like, you know what? That's it. I'm never signing an autograph again.
Should have turned around and peed on the guy. Said, there's your autograph right there.
He was apparently too nice of a guy to do that. But for years, people thought of him as a prick because he refused to sign autographs. And then he came out and told the story. And he said, look, I was using the urinal. And some guy, tries to put something in my hands. It's like, I'm busy.
I guess I would have pissed in his face. There, take
you
that.
But see, you are a prick. So.
Yay, there you go. Yeah, Remember that.
You know what? If you made salad dressing a guarantee, you wouldn't give the money away.
Fuck no. I'd be You know what? That's why I admire him because I'm thinking Come on, man. You could have kept a little bit of that. I don't know. I would have.
He made tons of money.
But he was he was a racing enthusiast. He won championship racing. What's that?
Let's get this back on topic. What's your favorite Paul Newman movie?
Oh man, I looked at his filmography and I can't claim to see half of these movies. I saw some of the movies that he did with his wife.
What's your favorite you've seen?
You know what? My favorite. A lot of people say Cool Hand Luke. My favorite is The Hustler.
The Hustler. Hustler's good. Although I have to say Cool Hand Luke, especially I just watched it again a few weeks ago. That's such a great fucking
It's a great movie. And a lot of people going to probably say, well, how could you choose The Hustler over that?
No, dude, nobody's going to say. Because The Hustler's a great fucking movie.
Man, the thing is, it's just not Paul Newman. Because, look, Paul Newman is so fucking cool in that movie. But then Jackie Gleason comes in, and the dynamic between those two guys, I can watch that movie over and over again, just watching them act. And that's why I love that movie. It's a shame that he didn't win anything until the Color of Money. I mean,
no, it's not a shame. The thing is he was one of those guys that didn't need it. I mean, he was one of the biggest stars in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, he was one of the last living legends.
I have to say, I'm not crazy about Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, though. I mean, I don't think it's.
That's where people are going to say you're out of your.
I know. It has one of the best endings. I love that ending, but I mean, look, it's with time, it's gotten a little corny in the middle in some parts, but it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's still a good movie. You have a
problem with the bike riding scene? Is that what's meant
in a way? Yeah,
I knew it.
But no,
that's kind of gay.
It's not a bad movie at all. I'm just saying it's not one of my favorites for it being the classic that it is. Love the ending in it, but no, man, the guy was great. And just reading up on some things about him, it's funny to see how this is why people should never give up. If you want to be an actor, you just got to learn to take rejection. I think he was doing a screen test for East of Eden, and he was doing it with James Dean, and James Dean got his part that he was trying out for, and then he got pushed out the picture. Paul Newman. And so later on, he became one of the biggest stars in the world. Great talent. I mean, he lived a good life. How sad? I mean, it's sad that we lost him, but how sad can you be to see a guy who made such accomplishments
who dies at 83?
Exactly.
It's
full life.
The best thing people have said, the thing that people keep saying is, look, it's not like it was a surprise. It's not a shocker. When you saw that news this weekend, did you go, oh my God, how could this happen? It wasn't like Bernie Mac or
exactly.
Or even more shocking was Isaac Hayes.
Yeah,
that was the one where it was like, what? But it was one of those things where it's like, but everyone was sad because it's like, well, the guy is, he was one of our greats.
You're going to mourn somebody's death. I mean, it's just out of respect, but shit, man. I'd say, hey, I'm surprised he didn't die fucking with those racing cars. He didn't crash into a wall or something. So yeah, he lived a really good life.
He lived a grand old life.
This weekend, I bought some salad dressing, drank a little bit and poured a little bit on the sidewalk for my man. So
this one's for the homie.
This one's for the homie. So yeah,
I can't believe we went there. Oh,
my man Paul Newman, boy, lived a good life. We should all be so lucky as to have the kind of life that you did. So
I want to see the little Paul Newman caricature they put on the coffin.
A little bobblehead. Yeah. So anyway, well, hey man, that's it. Welcome back. Had a real good time. I'm glad you're well rested. This has been really enjoyable.
Yes, it has.
So that's it. We'll see you next week, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.